So the next question is, in what practical ways can teachers begin to integrate equitable practices in meaningful ways?
Oh, that's a real good question. I think it's important for teachers to take three things into consideration. One, know myself in terms of what I am comfortable in doing. Know my practices in terms of what I am doing. But the more important thing is to know my students. And so when I know all of those three particular things, then I think I'm going to use the 5 guiding questions that I'm going to list here to help me to kind of move forward. Number one is where are we going? And so in terms of it, when I look at where I'm going, then that helps me to understand that I need to backwards map in terms of how to get there. And so in terms of looking at how I'm going to introduce lessons, what engagement strategies am I going to incorporate? What questions am I going to use to really kind of charge their thinking in terms of them understanding where we might be going? And then lastly, where are we now? The question I'm going to look at is where are we now? So really asking those questions in terms of where are my scholars now and where am I trying to get them to go? Question number 3 is how do we move learning forward? So basically in terms of if I know that that's where I'm going, then how do I move the learning forward in order to get them there? The next question I'm going to ask is what did we learn today? Or in terms of it after I've taught a lesson, then what have I learned today in order to move things forward? And then the last question is who benefited and who did not benefit from my lesson or what I've done. And so if we can keep those cyclical questions going throughout our day, throughout our lesson, throughout our units, I think that would help us to be better in terms of creating those equitable practices that needs to take place. So whether it's reading circles, whether it's pulling small groups, whether it's scaffolding lessons, whether incorporating supplemental materials, any of those things, that's going to help me to create those equitable practices in terms of moving forward. And I talk about PLC a lot because in terms of it, if I'm struggling with something, I should be able to bring it to my team and my team, us work together to create those equitable practices that are going to help our scholars. Because that may vary from K to 12 in terms of what that looks like, sounds like, feels like. But again, if we create a structure in order to bring those problem practices together and create strategy in terms of addressing it, we'll be dealing with the issues of equity that are taking places on our campus because we have a structure and a system to catch those things and be able to move things forward.
Thank you for that, Dr. Brown. Yeah, I love the know thyself, know thy practice. I don't know if you said thy, but I was thinking when you said church, I was like thy, they, thy, and know thy students. And so I love that and just moving things forward with intentionality. So thank you for your insight on that. Everything that you said, like made me really think about universal design for learning when we talk about like students and their engagement and representation and just all of the elements of universal design for learning. And so I'm really excited to hear you really put things into perspective so that we know about intentionally utilizing some of the practices that fall within universal design for learning. So thank you for that.